I was one of those people that would stick things in a closet thinking, I'll keep this just in case. I'm really not using it, so why am I keeping it, right? But that just doesn't occur to you in the moment. And if you keep building on that year after year after year, you're going to have quite a mess on your hands. It can be overwhelming, and sometimes you don't even know where to begin. So today I'm going to give you 10 of my best decluttering tips that I've learned through the years that will help you A, not bring clutter into your home anymore, B, get rid of what's there, and C, not be overwhelmed while you're doing it. Let's get going on these tips and get you in a better place. This tip is one of my absolute, by far, favorite, and that is, I ask myself one simple question. Would I buy this item again if I was given the opportunity? Now this here is my latest example. It's something that I thought was so cute. It's just such a nice quality, and I think I love the colors on it, right? I love it. It's adorable. But this is one of those things that I bought without thinking twice. It was just an emotional decision. I thought it would be cute in my home. But what I didn't remember is that I live in a small home with limited floor space, and it doesn't rain that much where I live. So, is this a really good purchase? No, it's not. So sometimes I think to myself, I am so upset at you for spending that money when you could have spent it on something else. And then I get back to myself and I say, you know what? Cut yourself some slack. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. You have to forgive yourself for those purchases. Keeping something like this around is not going to give you your money back, even though we wish that it could. Guarantee it's not just one of these items. You probably have a whole bunch of items you wish that you didn't buy and you wouldn't purchase again. So ask yourself that question and see where it gets you. I guarantee if you keep on letting those things go, you're going to be so much less overwhelmed. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions on how I can repurpose this umbrella stand. And while you're there, please subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every week. One of my all-time favorite decluttering quotes is by Joshua Becker. If you're not using something in your home, get rid of it, because you're not going to use it more by shoving it in a closet. The tip I'm going to tell you is figure out why you're decluttering in the first place. Now for me, I was moving into a downsized home and I had to figure out how am I going to cram my family of 6 into a home that is half the size from what we were used to. Later on, after we settled into our new home, I really realized the benefits that I was getting from not having nearly as much stuff. And I felt lighter and more productive and just overall in a better place. Fast forward a few years later, I came across Joshua Becker in minimalism. I never knew what minimalism was, but I had those minimalistic tendencies before, but this took it to a whole new level. And I really got into it. At that point, we got rid of about 75% of our stuff, and I felt even better. But that said, we all have some hiccups along the way or situations in our lives, both happy and sad, that can derail us. It could be a happy situation like you're having a baby, and it could be a sad situation like a loss of a loved one. Whatever your why is, keep that in mind the whole time that you have to make a few tough decisions along the way, and you're going to be so much less overwhelmed. One really good tip is do not buy any organization supplies before you're done decluttering. A, you're not done decluttering, so you don't exactly know what you're going to need, which can cause you to be overwhelmed. And B, it's a little reward for you at the end of the day after doing all of the hard work, which can cause you to be so much less overwhelmed. If you're thinking along the way that you can't wait to get this stuff organized, I think it might even help you make better decisions. One of the best ways I organize my stuff in my kitchen for utensils is I have a crock that I put on my counter. And that is just because I have very limited drawer space. But in the drawers that I do have, I section them off with dividers, which you can see in my kitchen organization video. I absolutely love those dividers because they expand to fit exactly in my drawer. Not only that, but they're bamboo, and I just think they're more beautiful than any plastic that I've ever seen. So if you are in the market, if you're done decluttering, and you want to get some of those bamboo organizers, check out my description because I will link them in the description so that you know exactly the ones that I use. And while you're at it, check out my kitchen organization video because that video is packed full of great tips on how to organize a small kitchen. There's always going to be certain areas of your home that are harder to do than others when it comes to decluttering. One of those things is handbags and tote bags and wallets and sunglasses, if we're being honest, but we're going to focus today on the handbags and tote bag situation that I had going on. Now back up, when I was younger, I would have one tote bag and one handbag. I would wear them out and then I would replace them. And that's just how I worked it. And I never was dissatisfied. But somewhere along the way, things changed. I thought that I needed every color under the rainbow that went with every outfit possibility that I could ever conjure up. But that, of course, is not true. The biggest thing for me was that I started getting really overwhelmed and I started thinking to myself, why do I have all of this stuff? I'm not even using it. So I stopped everything. I stopped buying any, accumulating any, and I just started taking notice of the things I'm actually using. I decided after a trip to Italy to get rid of all of those everywhere belt bags. They just weren't a good size. When I used one on my trip, it just was too small. So I parted ways with that and it was easy. And then when it got to the vintage Coach bags, I really sat down and evaluated. I'm taking care of these things. You have to clean them and you have to lotion them up. And there's a lot of maintenance that goes into vintage leather. And I was just sort of tired with that aspect of it. But not only that, there wasn't one of those bags that was quite right. I bought myself just 2 replacement bags. Now, sure, the everywhere belt bags and the vintage Coach is nice quality, but the quality that I got from the other bags is that it meant that it was all perfect for me. It was the right choices for me. That's quality as well. If you are in the same boat, no matter what category it is that you're excited about and you're passionate about it and you think you love it, really sit down and evaluate it like I did, because oftentimes, even though those are the things that we love and we have a hard time parting ways with, those are the exact categories that we need to pay attention to, because those are the things that are cluttering up our lives and really distracting us from what's truly important. So go through your stuff and let me know in the comments if you ever had a bag situation like me, or what category of items is difficult for you to let go of. You see this wall right here? This is my next tip. If you have a big item of furniture in your home and it is taking up space and not doing the trick for you, part ways with that. That is one of the biggest things that you can get to get a win. And when you get a win like that, that means you're going to be so much less stressed and overwhelmed about other things. It's like it fuels you and inspires you and motivates you to keep going. Something like my big shelf that I used to have here that was all open storage and full of clutter. It just was such a good thing for me to part ways with that. And I've never looked back. I just had these grand visions and I thought, oh, it would be so pretty to display books or display mementos or some of my dishes or whatever on the shelf. But what ended up happening is it was the opposite. Things just started getting packed on there to the point where I bought a bunch of plastic bins so that I put that stuff in it, and then it was starting to look like a storage unit. It really was serving no purpose. Getting this shelf was a mistake, and getting rid of it was one of the best decisions I've made in a long time. Leave me a comment and let me know if you decide to get rid of any of your furniture. I would love to see what you get rid of and why. And when you do that, leave me one of those little sunshine emojis, because it's going to be a really bright and happy day when that item leaves your house. When we make some rules for ourselves on what we're going to declutter, and we don't even have to think about it once we get to that type of item, that is going to help you stop being overwhelmed as well. So here's my next thing. If you have parts to something that you no longer have. And for me, it's all of these lids to these bowls that have broken or gotten chipped up, and I've gotten rid of them. But I keep all of these lids because I think, well, one day another bowl might break and therefore I'll have a better lid. Or what if one gets stained up? You know, but again, I have a 10 by 10 kitchen. I don't have room for all of this. And in fact, I had an entire cabinet full of Pyrex that I didn't really even think about until I just got done making my kitchen organization video. And I'm thinking, what in the heck, Bren? Why do you have 10 million pieces of Pyrex in a cabinet, in a kitchen that is so small? So guess what I did? And this is pretty exciting for me. I took out 2 entire shelves of Pyrex and I brought up my most used food from my cabinets down in the basement. Typically, I have to run downstairs if I need spaghetti noodles, or I have to run downstairs and get cereal. I didn't have room for that in my kitchen because of all this Pyrex. So it might seem kind of funny to you, but for me, it was a real revelation. And when I went into that cabinet, I had no clue that I had all of these extra lids. Coming across those types of things makes me remember that I am on a journey. I'm on a path to having a more simplified life, having a more minimal life, having a life that makes me want to have things only in it that make me happy and have a more serene, calm environment, more peace in my life. And knowing that I'm going to keep challenging myself and coming up with new solutions, that's part of the fun. So when you're doing all of your decluttering, if you come across an item like this, or several items like this, make sure that you have a rule in place already. So if you have those kind of questions answered for yourself, it's like boom, 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 you're done. You don't even have to think twice about it. If you part ways with those things and you know your answer right off the bat, it's going to be so much less overwhelming for you when you're decluttering. Are you enjoying these tips so far? Please let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. And also, while you're there, please subscribe to my channel and introduce yourself. I would love it if you say hi. And here's a meaningful tip. Part of decluttering is definitely emotional. There's emotions attached to things. It's not just about the stuff and why we're getting rid of it. And it's also about comparing ourselves to other people. That's what I mean about expectations as well. We think we're not organized. That person's organized. They don't have any clutter. We're not organized and we have a ton of clutter. And I just want you to know, be easy on yourself because that is not true. I'm going to give you a little story just so you can relate, so bear with me for a sec. Back when we were getting ready to move into our downsized home, I decided to call a mover to see what the quote would be. And when he got there, he did an initial survey and he tells me, don't worry, it's not going to be that much money. And then he walked around and he went into all of the closets and storage areas, etc. And he came back and he gave me the biggest whopper of a quote that I've ever gotten in my life. And he apologized because he said, I didn't know you were so organized. I had no idea what you had when I initially looked around. We all have clutter. Whether you're organized or you're not organized, we all have it. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just because other people are more organized than you does not mean that they don't have as much clutter as you. We all have it. Another one of my decluttering tips is called Get It Out of Your House Right Now. And that means when you declutter and you accumulate all of the stuff at the end of the day, you take it immediately out of your house and right to the donation center if at all possible. Or you list it on eBay, but I don't necessarily encourage that for people that are not sellers. If you are one of those people that's great at it and you enjoy it, like I really enjoy it, I love to sell things on eBay, but a lot of people are not like that. And if you're one of them, don't feel obligated to make your money back on this, because at the end of the day, the name of the game is to get your place into a place of peace and calm and serenity. You want to create a cozy hygge atmosphere in your home that you feel happy there and you're less stressed. So get that stuff that you've made decisions on right out of your house ASAP. That is going to help you out so much. Alternatively, if you keep those things in your home, you're more likely to delve back into that bag or box and start second guessing yourself. And that just creates double the work. So definitely don't do that. Another decluttering tip I have for you is just because something came in a set and you're not using the other parts of that set, don't keep it. Now I have a hair dryer upstairs that came with about 5 or 6 different attachments. And recently I thought to myself, I'm tired of going through this little bin that I have, trying to dig my way through to my hair dryer. I'm just tired of it. Why are all these little parts in here? I never use them. I only use the one part, which is a diffuser for my curly hair. I don't need to have all of these straighteners and comb things and brush things. It's just not necessary. So I decided to part ways with those things. Another example is at Costco. I buy my Ziploc bags from them because it's an overwhelmingly good deal. You get all 4 different categories: snacks, quarts, gallons, and sandwiches. But I never find myself using the snack size. So why am I keeping that? I have a really small kitchen. It's only 10 by 10. And that means that I don't have room, even for something this small, to hang around in anticipation that I might use it one day. This is something that can definitely go. So if you have something around your house that is part of a set and you never ever use it, it might be even a gift with purchase that you have that you thought, oh, it was exciting at the time. I get something for free with my purchase, right? But that is not something that you want to keep. You definitely want to let those type of things go, absolutely, unequivocally, because they will accumulate over the years. There's always a gift with purchase. There's always part of a set, and you're not going to use all of it. Just let those things go. And I guarantee you will be less overwhelmed if you do. If you come across an activity or a hobby that you are not doing anymore, make it a rule for yourself that that kind of stuff just goes. You won't even have to think twice about it. It's just, this is my rule and I'm sticking to it. Here's my example. Recently, I decided I'm going to stop running and start doing exercise classes at my gym instead. And I'm loving it. But let's say I did not get rid of my 16 pairs. Yes, I know that's a lot and it was a little overwhelming. 16 pairs of running tights or 5 or 6 pairs of running shoes. Now, mind you, I've been doing this activity for a long time, so things just accumulated over time. And I would hesitate to say it's probably similar to my handbag situation. It was difficult for me to let go of these things. So it's one of those categories of items that I did accumulate and I did not let go of. But anyway, I finally did. I let go of all of my running shoes and I also let go of all of my running tights. And I kind of took note of the quantity of things that I had at the same time. So when I replaced my things for my new activity, I didn't go crazy like I did before. And now my basket where I keep my running shoes is not overflowing, and my drawer where I keep my exercise clothes is so much nicer. I absolutely love going into that drawer now, and I don't dread the decisions that I was having to make before on which color to wear, or does this fit me or not, or do I like this length or do I like this length? You know, all of those decisions are just gone. If you have a quantity of items for an activity or a hobby that you no longer do, just like I did, part ways with it just like I did. My stuff wasn't even that big, but there are activities out there or hobbies out there that those items take up quite a lot of room. Now that I'm done with my list, was there anything that you'd like to add? I'm always looking for new suggestions, so go ahead and leave a comment. This is a little behind the scenes right here. I wanted to show you this because this is going to be one of my upcoming videos on organization. I'm going to tackle our small home office stuff. All of my husband's things for work are going to go into these 3 bins, everything. And that way he can take it on the road with him, either to the office or when we travel. And the traveling part is what I'm most excited about. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to be coming up soon, and I think you're really going to like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment. I would love to hear from you on all the questions that I asked because I truly want to get to know you and develop a connection in this community.